last Monday when they met of the Lakeway Flute Choir under the direction of Marilyn Perkey. We're going to let her say a word, but just a note of housekeeping, if anyone needs to use the restroom, if you just go straight back through the parish hall, men's is on the right and women is on the left. Enjoy.
I want to welcome you to the Lakeway Flute Choir. I'm so glad that you all are here. If you're a lot of church members here, that most of you would probably know me. I teach flute downstairs and have been here for a long time, working with several of the bands in the Morristown area and the surrounding areas. But this is my lovely flute choir, and I feel so blessed to have all of them with me today. And I also want to acknowledge my family. My daughter is here this year playing with us, and my grandson, Ethan, is here. And my oldest grandson is taking pictures back there today. I finally got him to come to the concerts. That's Andrew. And Jaden, my youngest grandson, is here, and my husband is here, Harold Perkey. But I'm going to turn the program over to Matt, and thank you all so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Ms. Perkey. Our opening number tonight is called Traffic Jam, and it's a Lakeway Flute Choir favorite. This is a Ricky Lombardo composition. He is known for including close harmonies in his arrangements, and this one is no exception. So listen for those unusual Ricky notes as horns beat and traffic moves along. Next up, we have a couple of movements from the Flute Garden, Dainty Daisies Busy Bees, and Blossoms in the Wind. These are also Ricky Lombardo compositions, whimsical arrangements inspired by a flutist's home garden that incorporated flutes as focal points among the flowers. Last spring, we played a Henry Mancini piece, The Pink Panther. This spring, we decided to try another one, this time, Baby Elephant Walk. Henry Mancini was also a flute player himself and played flute and piccolo on several recordings of his own compositions. This composition earned Mancini a Grammy Award for Best Instrumental Arrangement in 1963. The piece was written for the film Hitari, starring John Wayne, and was filmed on location in Africa. It is featured in the film as 3 baby elephants are on their way to a watering hole. We have a few pieces this evening from cinema. This next one is Chim Chim Cheree from Mary Poppins, another award winner. This song won the 1964 Academy Award for Best Original Song. You can just hear Dick Van Dyke as Bert, the chimney sweep, singing that shaking hands with a chimney sweep brings good luck. Julie Andrews has also said that this is one of her favorite Disney songs. Also from Disney Cinema, we have Under the Sea, a tune from the movie The Little Mermaid. This cheerful piece has a surprisingly complex blending of parts. Its writing was influenced by Caribbean musical styles, such as the calypso of Trinidad and Tobago and the reggae style from Jamaica. Another award winner, after Chim Chim Cheree, this was the next Disney song to receive the Academy Award for Best Original Song. Can you believe this song came out in 1989? Join us as we accompany Sebastian the Crab as he sings of the benefits of enjoying a carefree life underwater. As Ms. Perkey said, we have 3 generations of musicians on stage today. So we have our fearless leader, Ms. Marilyn Perkey, and we have her daughter, Elizabeth Ogle, and her son, Ethan Ogle, who's my kind of stand buddy up here as our fellow flute player. So Ethan is a skilled instrumentalist. He's also been a generous musician. On some pieces, like the one coming up, we have the same part, and he has helped us to get through the hard parts together. And also to split up the playing a little bit so that we can both breathe. We have both decided that we really like breathing, so that has worked out really well. This next piece is called Tango, and it's a movement from Russell Howland's Three Pieces. Mr. Howland was a musician, educator, composer, and arranger, but really enjoyed performing. His career included 40 years as principal bass with the Fresno Philharmonic. And as a generous musician, he was known to substitute for other instruments as needed, frequently swapping at the last minute to cover parts on clarinet, oboe, or saxophone. Listen for the tango's characteristic rhythmic patterns, syncopations, and dramatic pauses. We have 3 movements from Harold Walter's Scenes from the West. It begins with line riders, followed by Joshua trees, and concludes with Dancing Bee. Each movement has its own tempo, style, and feel, but all 3 paint pictures of the Old West onto the mind. The next piece we would like to play for you was on the number one spot on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1984 and stayed there for 3 weeks. Ray Parker Jr. wrote the song with only a few days' notice and was inspired to create it as an advertising jingle to drum up business for a group of parapsychology professors investigating paranormal activities. This is the theme song from the movie Ghostbusters. Our next piece, The Chase, is another Ricky Lombardo original composition that makes frequent use of chromatic runs. Miss Annie is handling the piccolo duties for this piece and our next piece. In the middle section, the music stops abruptly, and Elizabeth on the C flute comes in and brings us back to the chase. After that, a segment begins that directs the flutes to play with a lilt. So listen for a rhythmic swing feel in that section. This next song was written by the members of an English rock band. In researching the background information, it turns out they wrote a lot of songs, not just this one. So you may be familiar with them. They call themselves the Beatles. Penny Lane is the name of a road with a roundabout where members of the band, as schoolchildren, frequently changed buses. Miss Amy's covering the piccolo trumpet solo on a piccolo flute, a bit of music that was written to suggest a sense of freedom, energy, and sheer happiness. We're closing this evening with an arrangement of another well-known tune. This one is called Fantasy on Amazing Grace, arranged by Phyllis Luke, an accomplished flute player and composer. There are a few unusual features of her arrangement. One is that it begins with a solo bass flute, which Miss Perky is going to be covering, and it ends with solo alto flute, which Don is going to be covering. In between, the piece progresses through 4 key changes and the interplay of different flute voices carrying the melodies and counter melodies, which can be quite complex, and brings me to introducing our conductor for this piece, Ms. Teresa Hensley, who skillfully guides us through this piece. We want to say thank you to Teresa for stepping aside from playing a part in order to help us to play ours. This is Amazing Grace and its enduring message that forgiveness and redemption are always possible.